Hi, folks. We're all here. We're going to take a few minutes to share on Facebook since we now have the link on Facebook to share with. And then we will join you. What is going on with Messenger? For some reason, I can't get to Facebook tonight. There it is. Okay.
Did you see my interview with Jeff?
Your interview with Jeff?
Yeah, did you see it?
You've had a number of interviews with Jeff, so which
But
one?
just my particular one.
Haven't you had?
The second one that I just did, it was just me and him.
I don't think I've seen that one yet, but I will definitely see it shortly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did mine.
Good. I still have a few more shares to do. Okay. Oh, Jeff is here watching us.
Yay.
On Facebook. There goes the promo, and here we are. And MB Victim Resources. I'm not sure I know who that is. Hi, Amber Lee. Hi, Dolores. Hi, Steve. Hi, Terry. And hi again, Dolores.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hi, Kevin. How are you? It's great to see you. Carmen, it's great to see you. Jeff, of course. Very welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
And hi, Kane Ryan. Terry Cook says, well, I'm not going to read that. Okay, at this point, what I'd like to do first is introduce the show. This is the In Depth Show, and I'm Joe Firestone, your host. And I'm here with my co host, who's Lisa Theobald,
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being
famous,
here.
famous 50 Lines Only. And our guest for tonight is Ramona Massachi, who is an extraordinary activist. And tonight we're going to ask her to talk about her road to activism. Would you like to start off, Lisa? Or would you rather I do?
Well, Ramona, I'm going to be really candid here. Joe shared with me some of your history, some of your background, and I've been in some DM rooms with you where we vet candidates and promote them with hashtags, and MMT rooms with you, and on and on and on for a while. And then you've been a great mediator at times when we really needed one, and empowered the ability for the strategy of fighting on all fronts to find its way to Joe. And the Red Berets have such a debt of gratitude to you for doing that for us and with us and introducing us to Dr. Firestone. The Ragtag Band has always been there for us to call on, and I know you're part of all of that. And then Joe told me that you've actually taught introductory MMT classes, and I want to hear about that because that's fascinating to me, and I don't know if I would have the guts to do that. So I want to hear about that. And then I find that I know that you spoke at the March for Medicare for All rally, and then spoke again at the Julian Assange rally in New York of late, that we did with KRTD Media. And now I understand that you're going to also speak at the Occupy Pfizer event, which all of that has taken place since July. And I knew in the back of my mind that you had spoke at the March for Medicare for All, but we were like down in DC, and I sort of forgot about that. And then Joe pointed out to me that you were speaking at the Julian Assange protest, and I just see this evolution that you've taken. And so Joe and I were talking about it, and I said, becoming empowered to be an activist is not necessarily jumping into organizing marches per se. I think it's a path that everybody takes, and your activism could be making telephone calls, teaching the community. I want to hear about that because I'd like to maybe do that myself. We have a community center here, and you can sign up for classes, and I'd like to hear how you just got from where you started to where you are now, because it's a pretty amazing story. I think I want to hear that.
How I got started. So, when I went to college, there would be activists there, and they would be like calling Nike and yelling at them for using slave labor.
Some of the child labor stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they would have all the phones out there. And I remember one day I was passing by, and they were like, make a call, come on. So I picked up the call, and I gave them a piece of my mind. Then I hung up, and I walked away, and they said, well, do you want to join us? And I said, nobody ever listens to humans. Nobody listens to people. Things don't change. Like, I'm not going to waste my time and join you calling Nike. I don't care.
I hear that.
And so I really wasn't much of an activist. I mean, I understood the system doesn't work, and it doesn't work on purpose. I understood that everybody's out for themselves, and Like we don't really have that base community that we need. So as I was growing and evolving, I didn't take the path of trying to heal the world. I kind of really took the path of trying to heal myself, and really got into meditation, and learned how to use energy and healing and all of that mysticism. It wasn't until later, after Bernie lost his first run, that I really wanted to understand. I said, okay, well, I know the system doesn't work, but I want to understand why. Like, how is it even possible that Bernie could lose to Hillary Clinton? Like, how does that even work? And so I started to, read and learn. And initially, I got into TYT, because I was like, okay, I want to hear some news that isn't like from mainstream media, because I never listened to mainstream media. Like, it would be on as I was passing, but I never actually would turn it on and watch it, because I knew it was all just garbage. Um, there was no point to watching it. So I started watching TYT, and I started getting a little bit clearer of a picture. And then actually, the person who really like pushed me hard left, surprisingly, is Jimmy Dore. Because Jimmy Dore was on TYT. He had a show on, and I would listen to him, and I was just like, oh, this is a whole nother level of leftism that I can actually relate to. And then they kept talking about Twitter, Twitter, Twitter. And so I got on Twitter, because I was like, well, that's where it's at. And I started investigating myself. And I think what really inspired me was the entire community on Twitter. Just so many beautiful human beings here. It's just like one after another is like after my heart. You're all beautiful. and
Right.
so and so I really fell in love with the community, and I just kept on learning more. And actually, I used to do this thing for Bernie Sanders when I first had initially got on Twitter. I used to do this phone banking thing. So I would count how many phone banks he needs to accomplish for that week, and how many so far he's accomplished, and what the gap is. And then I would encourage people to phone bank. And I would do that every single day. It was like an ongoing, like, all right, we reached this many. Yes, we did it. We got like a million more calls yesterday. Let's do
remember
2
that.
million more,
I remember you doing that.
Yeah. And then I used to do phone banking at my house. Like, I would sign up through Bernie's network, and I would have people come over to my home and phone bank with me, and just to create some sort of a community for myself where I live.
Ramona, can I interrupt you for a second? Some people in the comments section is saying that they can barely hear you. Can you turn your sound up?
Oh yeah, that might help.
There you go.
Sorry about that. So no, I'm getting into the juicy part, so don't worry, whatever you
Okay.
didn't hear. So then when I started following Bernie, I decided that I really wanted to learn how he puts all of his plans together. How does this all work? So I started looking up his economics team, and I found Stephanie Kelton, and I started looking at her work, and I started looking at her colleagues' work. And then I started watching MMT, like interviews and videos. And I was like, I said, wow, this is like spirituality, but in economics.
I love it. I love it.
Somebody might actually listen to me now.
Right? It's all starting to make some sense, right?
Right. Like, maybe somebody will actually take all of this harmony and living, as one together, in peace, and helping each other and giving to each other and nourishing each other. Maybe somebody will take that seriously as like something we should do. And so I got really excited, because I was like, wow, because I used to teach meditation and I used to do healing work, but like you can't really receive unless you're open enough to be tuned in. And so I
Reiki?
kind of feel like MMT is kind of the same thing. Like you can't clearly see how simple it is and how it works unless you're willing to see.
Amen to that. Amen to all of that. Yes, all of it. So did you do Reiki? I'm just curious.
Yeah, but nobody really taught me. When I was a child, I had this like crazy energy thing going on. I could feel everybody's energy and I could transfer energy from across the room, and then other people could feel it and they'd walk up to me and be like, "Stop that." and, so, and so I was always able to do it. So then when I started like doing meditation retreats and stuff and people were like learning, I was like, "Oh, let me show you. It's like this."
Wow.
So
That's really amazing.
that was fun. But then I, in conjunction with helping Bernie as much as I possibly could, I also started getting invited into candidate groups where other people would set up like groups of candidates and would invite other people in. And so I started being put into candidate groups, or candidates would start their own group and put me in, you know? And I started getting to know candidates, and Jeff Epstein
Right.
from Activist MMT and I used to set up candidates to do trainings with Pody, and we used to do that all the time. And then I got burnt out because it's a lot of work.
Were you training them on MNT?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
would have Pody train them, and we got Corey Bush to come and listen, and that was good. A lot of other candidates, and so then I got burnt out and I stopped, and now all the candidates already know MMT because Stephanie Kelton wrote her fabulous book, and all they have to do is pick it up and read it. And nobody has to train anyone anymore. Thank you, Stephanie. And because they just ask me, they'll DM me and they'll be like, "Tell me about MMT," and I'm like, "Read Stephanie's book." You know, like,
Yeah.
just why do I have to explain it to you? It's a lot, and there's no reason. There's no way that I could explain it properly. So just read, and absorb. And then if you have questions, I'll set you up with somebody, you know? But so now all the candidates already know MMT. So now Jeff and I are doing MMT candidate interviews with hashtag MMT candidate.
Nice.
And we've done 3 already. And so we did Jason Call, Imani Oakley, and Neil. I forgot Neil's last name. He's a new candidate that like a lot of people in the MMT world are connected to him. Neil Walia.
Ah, yes.
Neil Walia. And his interview just got released today and tonight. It's so good. He's so good. So anyway, so it's so exciting. All these candidates understand MMT, and so now they understand how to pay for it. And now they're like coming, you know, on interviews on podcasts and YouTube shows and declaring, you know, like, I understand what I need to do when I get into office. I can't go along with the game. I have to shout it out. And so creating that makes me really happy. There's more I want to create, but I can't do it without a team. So I'm kind of waiting for the team to be created. You know, like I need like people who want to do lots of, you know, several hours of work a week for free. Yeah, I need that.
And what is the vision? What is the vision you have?
So the vision is to take the MMT candidates, or just any grassroots candidate, that is who understands, has, first of all, they have to take the time to figure it out themselves. If you haven't like read any of the MMT research, if you're not going out there trying to figure out, okay, what's real, what's not real, like there's like no point, because you have no incentive.
Right.
So obviously, would have to be people who have taken the time to read and digest and question and ask questions. If you haven't asked like 50 questions, then like what are you doing?
Right.
So it would have to be those candidates, but I really want to get them all together and like put them in front of like Fadl, and he would explain how countries that are stuck in IMF loans can get off IMF loans, and how members of Congress can help them. Or Pavlina, and have her explain how the federal jobs guarantee works, and so on and so forth. Everybody has their expertise. So I would like to get candidates to start building these relationships with these brilliant minds. I mean, we're
Right.
so lucky they like exist.
Right.
Thank God. And so we have all these brilliant minds and who are writing policy in Congress, and we have all these candidates who are learning how economics really works, and we should just bring them all together and create like a force where they're able to help each other. So if they have questions while they're in Congress, they know who to call. If they want a policy written, they know who to call. If they need to explain something or word something or learn how to speak MMT without saying MMT, they know who to call. So that's the vision.
It's a great vision.
Yeah, because we need legs. We need legs on this table. This
Yes.
table needs
Absolutely.
legs, solid. And without that, you have nothing. You just fall.
Well, I would be one of those people who is willing to give you some hours every week, Ramona. I would love to see you. I would love to help you with that, because I don't think that is really where we need to go with this. Because you don't need half of them to know it. What you need is, and I really believe in this stuff, and I know some people don't like this, but you get 6% going, talking about it on a regular basis in Congress, and they're going to put them all to shame, right? And there's a lot that you're not going to be able to, you can't help those who are never going to have the prowess or the appetite, who are going to stick to this silliness lie. I call it the big ruse. I've always I told Joe this a long time ago, but this whole lie about how it's your tax dollars that are doing X, Y, and Z makes me nuts. I mean, anybody who, it's the nerve, right? It hits the trigeminal nerve when you hear people say that kind of stuff, right? 6 years ago, we weren't there. I mean, where we've come from 6 years ago to where we are now is amazing. It is. It is. I would have never thought that we would have gotten this far in this period of time.
You're right. And it's even more amazing if you date it from late in 2009 and early 2010, which is
Isn't that, when did you do the summit that you did, Joe?
We did the summit in April 28th, 2010.
Right. Okay.
The Fiscal Sustainability Teach-In Counter Conference.
Fiscal sustainability what?
Teach-In hyphen counter conference. Oh, I guess it didn't have a hyphen. It was teach hyphen in counter hyphen conference.
Okay.
That's what it was. It's still up there on YouTube.
Yeah, I need to go get it.
Still up there.
I started going to look for it, and I didn't have the name of it, so it was getting hard. But anyhow, back to Ramona. Because I haven't even gotten to how you started teaching classes in your community. Is that correct?
So I haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay.
I know I haven't done that. I would like to, but I'm a little intimidated by this community.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking to myself, because when Joe told me you were teaching, I was thinking you were doing it like at the community center, which I was like, oh my God.
I had the impression that you were teaching in Newark somewhere before the Modern Money Network.
So the Modern Money Network got together and they said that we were all going to learn how to teach MMT in our community.
I see.
Okay.
And I got really excited.
Yeah, totally.
And then the Modern Money Network got overwhelmed.
Did they really? That's a great sign.
And they were like, okay, well, this is like too much for us. We don't know how to organize it, and it's too many people. And
Oh,
you guys,
Professor, we need to come up with a syllabus.
Oh, so they gave up on organizing it?
So I don't know what happened. Like there were 3 people in New Jersey that signed up, and I was like, I'll lead, and like nobody like contacted me, and so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
There's a
But
lot going on right now, though, Ramona. I can understand. I mean, when the time comes, you know, a syllabus, materials to teach out of to your community, right?
So there is somebody, Ganesh. Do you guys know Ganesh?
I know of him. Just go ahead.
Oh, so I'll send it to you. So anyway, I forgot his last name. I have to look it up.
Yes, he's named after the Indian god.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's Ganesh Balamitran.
Oh, Balamitran. Okay, great.
Yeah,
name.
Balamitran. So he put to. I hear a background. Do you guys hear the backgrounds also?
No.
It's only me? Okay. So I'll ignore it. So he put together a video presentation, a slideshow presentation for MMT, and it's fantastic. And I'll send it to you guys because he said anybody could use it. So he's been teaching it in his community in California.
Oh, good.
And so he took it. He's part of the board of ed at his school, and so he taught it to everybody there. And I forgot who was somebody higher up than him in the board of ed started talking MMT and saying, "Hey, we should get federal funding for our school."
Totally, right?
And so I don't think this is just really important. Can I leave and come back because I keep hearing the?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can leave and come back. Okay.
Sure, why not? It'll be fine.
Hi. Every time I plug in my headset, Joe, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't seem. People can hear me talking through it, but I just can't seem to get my headphones to work in the right way, and they keep shutting off on me. So I don't know what's wrong with them. I hope it's not me that's making her echo.
Your sound is fine.
Okay.
At least so far as I can hear.
Okay.
Fine. I don't think there's any background noise.
Okay.
But I wonder. That sounds like a job that perhaps we can take on at KRTD Media.
Totally, right?
And we have the horses.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%. 100%. We'll have to put a committee around it, but yeah. And then we have to make sure that we're defining our audience, because teaching at a community center versus teaching in a community college, right, or a private college even, would be different animals.
Much different, yeah. Yeah, I think what we're talking about here is teaching at a community center.
Right.
It's actually talking to people.
Yeah, like me and all my girlfriends, I'll drag them in. Come on.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so I figured out what happens. I had it on YouTube as well. For some reason, it started to stop syncing.
There's a delay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Yeah, it was a feedback effect, probably.
Joe, can you put her up top instead of me?
I don't know quite how to do that. Let me try. No, that's
Oh,
not
you could
working.
put her on the side like you are right now. That'd even be better.
Yeah, okay, let me see if I can somehow do that. For some reason, it wants to put me back on that side. I don't know why. Let's see what happens now. Now Ramona's still on the bottom. Let's.
That's all right. Never mind.
It's okay.
I'm afraid I have only limited control of this interface because it only provides limited control. I think what would have to happen to change the position is for me to go out, okay, and you to go out.
No, never mind. Don't need to do that.
So anyway, so Andreas Bernals had said that if I can put a team together, that he would help us with whatever we need.
Well, that's
So
awesome.
I just need to put a team together. So I have 3 other people that said that they would give up their time. So I'm hoping that it'll be like a few more, just so we could divide up all the work and not everybody feels so overwhelmed. You only have, a few hours of work a week and then it's fine. But like
Yes.
all of a sudden when you have 10 hours of work, you're just like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Right.
And I don't want it to be like that for anybody.
Yes,
Right.
right. So you want to avoid the syndrome that occurred in certain of the MMT groups, which shall go unnamed tonight.
Many hands make light work, number one, right?
Absolutely.
And then the more people you have, the more reach you're going to have when you start to socialize it, distribution, replication, right? Makes it
Yeah,
easier.
I think it has to be kind of like a twofold thing eventually, So it would be federal candidates and state candidates, because if you can get all the state candidates to pressure the federal candidates and like get all their constituents, because they're a little bit more localized, kind of angry and aware. I like know why they're angry, because there's one thing
Right.
to be angry and there's another thing to know exactly why you're angry. Then that'll create a huge shift as well. So you could do the state and you could do the federal, and you could do that at the same time. And really, all you really want is to kind of what I really want. All I really want is to like kind of make the connection for them so that they're in front of the economist, together
Right.
in a group. And then from there, they can take it wherever they want individually. But just to have that foundation, and also them to have like a space to go if they have,
Questions.
questions.
Or need resources, right?
Yeah, or need resources, and I guess all of that would be built afterwards, because there's steps to it. But that's my vision, and that's what I'm hoping we're going to create, because that's what we need, because I refuse to give up.
Right. And the whole idea around doing it, I don't know why I'm having
Who's
trouble.
talking about giving up?
I refuse to give up. Like I'm just going to keep going and going and going
No, sure.
until it's over. Like I'm not going to stop.
I think the beauty of what you said too is right now, if it's only happening in the federal legislature, then it's a top-down push. When you teach the states how this works, then it becomes a pull. They want it. It's going to be a demand, right? How do you get money in the states? Oh, gee. Here's how, right?
Yeah, federal revenue sharing.
Exactly.
Which is, I can't even believe we don't like, this isn't like a constant thing. Like states can't like write, listen, we need.
Point.
Yeah.
Like how is this like that this isn't even happening now?
Can you imagine if you got the state legislatures to start writing legislation and handing it to their senators?
Yeah, and be like, listen, this is
what we want.
This is what we need.
Yeah.
We're at need now. We're not even at want anymore. Yep. Like want is like forget about it. We're inspiration. Like
That's really it, Ramona. That is it. When it becomes a poll, listen, you don't introduce this legislation that Pennsylvania needs? Okay. Go find us a candidate for Senate that will.
Yep.
Bingo.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
And at the state level, not everybody. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes, I do all the
Okay.
time.
So
Of
at the
course.
state level, not everybody is a piece of shit. Like you
Right.
have a lot of people at the state level who are just like regular people who want to help out, want to figure it out and get frustrated. And so you have a lot of regular Joes at the state level. And once they find out, they're
Yeah.
going to be really, really motivated to make
And in-
sure whoever's representing the state on the federal level gets
No,
this in
no.
and out.
Right. No more of this. No more of this power structure dynasty. No more of this burying bills in committee. Right. And then they can communicate instead of, let's just be honest, the silly, goofy party structure. Oh, here's the candidate that we think is just great, and you're going to write postcards and go out and get out the vote for. No. Now you've got the state legislature saying, here's who you're going to support because this is the legislation that we need, because these are the programs that we need. We need the federal dollars, and that idiot sitting up there ain't delivering.
Won't get it for us.
Exactly.
Will not get it for us.
Exactly.
So now you get them working for us.
Right. And then you don't have to like do the whole struggle of like teaching the whole population who 90% of them are kind of checked out because life is so freaking hard.
And they have to have a certain understanding of this, and a lot of people don't. You've got to be honest with that. Finance is not intuitive, right? Neither is accounting, for that matter. And we get into this, and you can understand MMT without having a finance background or an accounting background. But once you get to the legislature and you've got to write this stuff, you do have to have some level of that understanding. And if you're not willing to do that work, then you don't belong there. And this gives us that vehicle, right?
Exactly. Like my pinned tweet is, if you are a candidate running for office and you have not taken the time to learn MMT, you are wasting everyone's time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. That's so true.
You need to go learn or go find something else to do.
Right?
Exactly. And we've got to get things to that point. We still got a few years to go to get things to that point, but maybe another 4 years.
It's going to happen sooner than we think, because the people we're all starting to get into a situation where we're in a really bad way. And this gets us to healthcare, right? And
it gets us
Pfizer,
more than healthcare. It gets us to the Green New Deal.
Yeah, but we only have, I don't know if everybody knows this, but we have 2 or 3 years left to actually address climate change.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
That's it.
I know. If not, there's going to be very severe damage.
That's it. It's like going to be gone. Like we have to do this now. and then if we don't do it now, we're at 2 degrees Celsius, and then that's it. Like it's over. Like it's not.
And the infrastructure bill is doing more fossil fuel. Like
right.
We're going backwards.
Yes, it's not a climate bill; it's a fossil fuel bill.
Yeah, and it's a
fossil fuel act.
It's a private-public partnership giveaway.
Yeah, lemon socialism. It's lemon socialism.
Yeah, it's socialism for the wealthy. Isn't that nice? We get more of that. Like the earth is dying, and we get more socialism for the wealthy.
And they shout about how everyone else is a socialist.
It's unbelievable.
I went yesterday about this.
Okay, so to get back to your activism, you have lately branched out to demonstrations and protests.
Yeah, well, because we weren't really doing that before. The whole time Bernie was running, all the kids, and all the DM groups were like, hey, let's do a whole country march for Bernie. In support of Bernie. Everybody wanted to do it. And for some reason, the campaign didn't support it. and it didn't happen, and we weren't doing stuff like that. I'm so happy we are now, because I feel like every single like if there's a revolution, I'd be really happy, because then I don't have to do all of this. But like I think that every single direction, every single action needs to be taken. Whatever that action is, like all of them need to be taken together so that we get somewhere. And some people are really focused on, electoral politics. Some people are really focused on mutual aid. Some people are really focused on protests, and direct action. And I think like whatever just do whatever you're
Right.
doing, just keep doing it.
Yep. We've been talking about cross-pollination of all of the issues that activists are protesting, right? Because I think that we are at this point now where everybody realizes that this is the corporations against the people. That's really what it is. We don't have representation for the most part. All we have are corporate agents. That's where we are. So I've been telling people who are activists, if you want to go talk to a bunch of people, go get on the picket lines, because those people need your support anyway. They're a captive audience. You can talk to them, meet other activists, because that's what it's all about. That's what we don't have here that they've got in Europe, right? People are connected up. They get out there, and that's the culture that we need to build. And why not? Because we've got 100,000 more strikers coming on in the next 2 weeks. Let's go. Let's do it.
It's amazing how many people are striking and the media is not reporting on it.
Oh, well, Jonah Furman is a big strike reporter. They write the strike notes, is the blog post that comes out. I believe it's coming out more than once a week. It's coming out pretty frequently right now.
Strike notes?
Strike notes, yeah. And Ramona, I can DM it to you too. I'm in a DM room where we are pushing that stuff, and he's amazing. They've had him on CNN, they've had him on MSNBC. He's really like big deal, and he's tracking all of this.
Yeah, as I recall, he was on Rising.
God bless him.
Oh, he's great, and he's not the only one, but he's the one that, like, somebody was following him, and because of him said, hey, let's put a strike room together and push all the strike information. And I said, hey, I'm going to ask Jonah if he wants to join us. And somebody said, oh my God, that was the inspiration to put this together. And I'm like, well, who knows if he'll answer me. And I just, hey, Jonah. And he was like, absolutely. So he's in there.
I love
and we've just got some great people in there. And yeah. So anyway, I'll DM you that. Actually, I'll add you to the room if you want to come in.
I would love to watch that and share that.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Amazing. But so anyhow, Jonah Furman is the guy. He every week, I think, well, it's been every week, I think, he types up a summary of who's on strike, how many people, where are they in the strike negotiations, and he just tweets it out. And then he's got articles coming out all the time. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's amazing.
Okay, so as I said, you've gotten more active in direct actions, the Julian Assange action, okay, a few weeks ago, the Pfizer action, okay, that's coming up.
I don't think I'm going to the Pfizer thing. Is that on Monday?
I thought you were speaking at the Pfizer protest. You're not?
The Pfizer protest is on November 15th. I had the impression that you were speaking at it.
I'm not, but it's in New York City, right?
Yes, it is.
It's in New York City, and it's 6 days from now.
Okay, well,
that would be a Monday. Yeah, that would be.
That's a Monday. Yeah. I knew it was on a Monday. Maybe.
Right. And it's fairly early in the morning. I think the time for it is going to be at 8:30, and the people are going to have to arrive, I suppose, a half hour earlier. So 8 o'clock.
Because I'm 2 hours out from New York City.
Oh, are you really?
Oh, you're way out in Jersey then, huh?
I'm in the woods.
Of the western part.
I'm north. I'm by New York State.
Oh, you're right by New York State, but in the western part of Jersey, right?
Yeah. I'm in like the upper parts of Morris County.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but I think it's great. I think the more we protest, also the more we meet each other, the more
Right.
we connect with each other. I
Right.
think that's also why I like the whole bringing candidates together, because like they're all activists before they became candidates, so
Sure.
they all already know each other, a lot of them, but it strengthens their bonds.
Okay, so are you intending to be active on a continuing basis in the fight for healthcare in New York State?
I'm in New Jersey. Do we have that? We don't have anything like that in New Jersey.
Not yet.
What, a single payer plan?
Yeah, we don't have anything like that in New Jersey. In New
Uh,
Jersey, we are
so
a little bit.
that's why I asked you whether you're going to be active in the New York effort.
Oh, probably not. If there was a New Jersey effort, I would. But
You know,
I live so far out, it's a little difficult.
but you know what though?
I see.
I think we know somebody who might be really interested in putting together at least legislation for the New Jersey effort.
Who?
You.
Madeline Hoffman.
Oh, Madeline Hoffman. I love her.
Yeah.
She is wonderful.
Well, we
She,
can put you in close touch with her.
yeah, we can
Oh,
put you in
yeah.
touch with Madeline. Yeah,
Awesome.
she I think she needs some downtime. The poor woman just ran Senate race and then gubernatorial race, but
Okay. Of course, we
put it in
also
her budget.
have some economic models for a single payer
Yeah, something that
states
really works. Gives you
that came
surplus.
from Jerry Friedman. So we're pretty conversant with those at this point. Okay. But to sort of shift things around, but just a bit. Okay, I'm getting the impression that you would be interested in and support any kind of activism that is likely to shake up the system,
Absolutely.
to really disrupt the system.
Yeah, I would like it to be even bigger disruption, being that we have, 2 years to disrupt. I would like it to be like loud, explosive disruptions.
Right.
Well, if we're talking about disrupting legislatures, okay, across the country, including Congress, we have only 1 year to disrupt because of 2022 elections. So we've been talking now for a few days about a disruptive idea. And we thought you might be interested in hearing about it.
The general strike?
Well, we're in favor of general strikes, certainly, as you know, many
Oh,
other
I'm in
people
favor
are.
of listening to your disruptive idea. Yes.
Right. But we're also in favor of another destructive idea that might be even more destructive to the legislatures. And that is a movement to, generally speaking, okay, a general rule. There might be exceptions in certain cases, okay, but a general rule to kick out the incumbent. In 2022, general rule for people to follow is vote against the incumbent and remove them from office. And we want to express that, okay, as a general rule because it's not really electoralism, number one. Number two, the National Congress, anyway, has a very, very low, okay, a very low
Approval rating?
polling numbers. Its polling numbers are probably below 20 somewhere because they've been below 20 for ages and ages and ages. And the more alienated that people get, the lower the approval rating of Congress gets. So Congress collectively, rather than the individual congressperson, but Congress collectively is hated by the voters. I don't think that's too strong a word for it. Okay. And the voters are probably looking for an outlet for that anger and rage and frustration, okay, and hate. And we propose, okay, an outlet. We propose a campaign that will recommend to voters that they, as a general rule, kick out the incumbent in 2022. We think if we can get this campaign to be large enough, and of course we have a year of notice to begin to tweet it and begin to talk about it and begin to consider all of the arguments for it and the arguments against it, of course, as well. Maybe during this year we can build a movement to really move the system by kicking out a large number of congresspeople of both parties.
I'm 100% behind this.
We could just figure out how to socialize it. And there's also what is there? 30 Senate seats are up this coming election cycle too, I think.
There are 1/3 of the seats that are up. So
Right.
technically there should be 33 seats up or 34 seats up, depending on the rotation, okay, at this point.
So the idea is to not only disrupt their power structure, right? Trying to
It's disrupting their power structure, but we want to disrupt their rules.
Yeah.
Because their rules are creating the hierarchies in Congress and making the backbenchers actually relatively powerless. But why does AOC not have any power? I mean, apart from the ideological differences, she doesn't have any power because she's new. And the rules of Congress are such that people who are new don't have any power. They have to survive for 6 to 8 years. And the only way to survive for 6 to 8 years is to play ball with the power structure at present. So we want to clean up the rules by throwing out huge numbers of people who are taking the money. And also by making the taking of money a negative factor for election in itself. We want the taking of money to be poisonous to the candidates because increasingly it will be interpreted as a disqualification for office as opposed to a qualification for office.
How are we messaging this?
Well, we don't know, Ramona. I don't know. I mean, we've
Yeah,
got some
well,
ideas.
Because I mean, it's exactly what we need. It's a brilliant
got some
idea.
ideas, but I don't
Working
think
the
we've shaped it
messaging
yet.
out. But basically, I think the key idea is that we're trying to change the collective. We're trying to change the system. This is not aimed, okay, at any particular congressperson, okay, any particular senator,
No party.
okay, right.
Every party, right?
You
Everybody.
have to take individuals and say this person took this much money.
Yeah,
This
I
person
agree.
is running against them and isn't taking this money. And
We
so you have another option of voting for this other person that's not
right.
taking the money.
We are not even going to say that. Okay.
No, wait, Joe. Wait a minute, because
Oh,
I
but if
feel the same way, and she's the second person now that I've talked to who feels the same way.
Because if it's not specific, then people don't know who the hell to vote for.
That's just it. It's going to be
because it's not like these candidates are getting any coverage.
Right.
That's why, like, everybody in the media interviews them because they need the coverage.
So think about it, okay, for a moment, though. Okay, the general rule is get rid of the incumbent. Generally, the incumbent is going to be a Republican, okay, or a Democrat, right?
Right.
So, let's say the incumbent, okay, is a Democrat. So we're kicking the Democrat out. Why are we kicking the Democrat out? Okay? Because the Democrat is an incumbent, and the Democrat has been taking money for those two reasons. And the money is corrupting the system. We're trying to change the system. So we're trying to get rid of all the incumbents who have been taking the money. We're trying to clean house.
Okay, but that only works if you have somebody running against them that's not taking the money. And you have that in 130 races, but
there will be some people who will be running against them who will not be taking money. But certain people who were running and refusing to take money, who were the new Democrats, quote unquote, the new progressives, but not relying on money. But we'll also have third-party candidates who are not taking money, such as Green Party candidates, for example, and maybe People's Party candidates if they ever get going. Okay, but the point being, there will be alternatives for people to vote for. Now, maybe in that case, you'll be putting a Republican into office, even though the Republican is taking money. But what the Republican will have seen is that that Democrat was kicked out because the Democrat was taking money.
I don't think that they're going to care. And that piece of this narrative, Joe, I think we need to put together with Ramona there for sure. We need to put together a discussion room where we talk this out and throw this up on the wall and see what sticks. We really do.
We absolutely do. We need to have a meeting soon.
Yes.
So do you know Green Party maps?
Do we know Green Party maps? I think we know.
I don't know what that is. Is that that an account or someone? What is that?
So it's also an account. So it's both. So this wonderful human being that I was supposed to meet up with forever ago. I'm sorry if you ever see this and I haven't met up with you. He makes this amazing thing called Green Party Maps, where he has all the green candidates on one huge map. Actually in the entire world, but he also has them just for United States. And so he has everyone, and then you click on it, and then a whole bio and like contact information and where they're running and everything comes up with a picture of them. It's fascinating. And it is, I'm going to tell you the actual. So I love the Green Party. So it's very exciting.
I think I'm going that way from now. I think I might actually register green.
So I love candidates that are good people. So there are a lot of really good people running in the Green Party. And so I go where the candidates are. But I'm going to find you Green Party maps so that I'm going to give you the website.
But I think that one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is that we're talking to Republican voters, Democratic voters, independent voters, every third party registered voter, right? Because this message has to get out, and we're going to have to get concise with the campaign.
And we're going to have to get concise with the hashtag. And the hashtag should be a hashtag calling for action. The action we want to see.
So I put it in the private chat because I couldn't comment on the regular chat. I don't know why. And somebody could
probably don't have you have to log into StreamYard to be able to comment. I haven't ever done that yet either.
Okay, got it. I see the login button on the top. So I guess Joe, you can put that into the comment section, and it's fabulous Green Party maps. This guy is an amazing human. So I want to do this also for progressive candidates. So we have two maps. We have the Green Party map and the progressive candidate map. And I was supposed to hook up with him a while ago. And it just, every weekend turns like to crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the link,
now.
I put the link in the public comments now.
Thank you.
So it's
So anyhow, that idea, Ramona, I think we would just really need to get a bunch of people together and hash this out, because I think it's a great idea. And I think we need to hear ideas like what you said about targeting races, and socialize this and come up with what's this look like and how do we apply it across the board.
Right. And it can't just stay, it has to be the kind of thing where, because I'm not on Facebook really. So I'm only on Twitter, but whatever platform you use, it has to be where you're able to get into spaces that you normally are not in. So the eyes of others see it as well. So it has to
Right.
say, it can't stay in like our little, left box,
Right.
which,
Right.
which
It
I
can't stay in
love.
the algorithm. It's got to get out of the algorithm.
Yeah, it's gotta come out of like our little space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the media interconnections that are starting now, we can get this socialized through the activist world if we're good at it, right? It's got to be catchy. People have to understand it without a long explanation, right? And we have to figure out how to get there. But then you just, if it's good enough of a message, shit, I'll take it out on LinkedIn. I don't care. I'm about ready to get that bold. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know?
so that's kind of, it's got to be like, because people don't absorb something until it's in their face at least 15 times,
Right. Right. And it's
Well, we
got to
can
make
do it
them go,
at least 15 times.
what's
Probably
this
more
about?
than that. I mean, we have a long time.
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
but
We
we
have a
don't,
year.
because a
Well,
year goes by like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
gone.
Goes by like that, but it's certainly enough to get in front of people 15 times.
Oh yes,
Or
if we
Yeah.
we
maybe
actually
30
put it
times.
together and start
50
it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved how Pepper Oceana
Yep.
used to create her DM groups and used to work her magic. I'm a huge fan of that woman.
Yeah.
Um, and I would love to see something like that where we we have like 20 DM groups, and it's like, all right, so this is what we're sharing, this is how we're sharing it, and this is what we're doing, and so you have that momentum
Right.
where a lot of people are sharing the same thing, and it starts to trend, and then it starts coming outside of the box.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, she'd be a good person to bring into this discussion too, if she were willing.
Yeah, I don't know if she's open to it. You'd have to ask her, but she's brilliant.
Yeah, she is brilliant. She's great with messaging. Fabulous. Because, we've got one chance at this.
Yeah, we got one chance. This is it.
Right. And she and Laura working together would be fantastic also.
Absolutely.
I think they've worked together in the past. And I think
Yeah.
we can easily get them working together again if Pepper K is willing. I think Laura would be willing.
Yeah, it would be really nice to save life on Earth and get everybody health care and education and housing and
Okay, so we already have Shane on
It'd be
board
really nice.
with the idea. Okay, Lana Dell is also on board, as you see her comment. Shane and I talked about bumper stickers, buttons, and magnets for dump the incumbents. That's the hashtag that Lana favors.
I like that. Dump the incumbents. That is very catchy.
You
And
think?
simple. It's
I'm
catchy.
glad to hear you say that.
Yeah, dump
It's
the
catchy
incumbents. It's
and it's
perfect.
simple. Yes.
Yeah.
We also have another hashtag that was suggested actually by Jerry Vassilatis, who is the Chicago Corner guy. And the hashtag he suggested was clean out the zoo in 2022. Okay, I thought that was good too, but I didn't think it was as concise as as dump the incumbents, and it was also a little more mysterious as well, as opposed to dump the incumbents.
I agree. I like dump the incumbents a lot, Lana.
And I was looking at this. I mean, there's so many dimensions to this. One of the things that I was thinking was calling it like the corruption primary, because it's way easier in my mind to target the primary to upset an incumbent with someone you actually know is going to do something for you, right? As opposed to now it's the general, and you've either got one incumbent or another incumbent, and how do you make that decision, kind of thing, right?
It's not one incumbent, though, okay, and another incumbent. It's always one incumbent and a challenger facing that incumbent. Now, it could be the challenger, is also bought by money. But if this is a national movement and the incumbent, okay, is dumped, then there are other districts in which the Republican, okay, is an incumbent and the incumbent, okay, is dumped. And so the new Republican is going to have to pay attention to that, because we're talking about a national movement. It's not simply this one district. Something happening all over. It's a rise of the public. And the public is saying, we don't want these incumbents who are taking money. And we're willing to throw you all out if you take money. And even if someone comes in who takes money, the lesson will still be there for that person. Okay, you're in for now, but we're going to do this again in 2 years, and you're going to be the incumbent then, and you're going to be out. If we're successful enough the first time, that's going to be a lesson that people, okay, are going to learn. Now, it may be we have to throw out 100 to 150 of them the first time out. But I think that's going to rock the Congress. It's going to rock their attitudes. It's going to change their attitudes towards taking the money.
If we can get enough humans to not vote for them, that's what will happen. But
That is what will happen. It will disrupt their system.
and not only enough humans to not vote for them, enough humans to actually understand that this is it. This is the moment, and there won't be any more moments. This
Right.
is the moment.
This is the
And
moment when it has to be done.
Yeah.
And also,
Because there are no more moments.
there are no more moments, but also this is going to open the way for third parties, because there will be some races that will be won by third parties. In heavily Democratic districts, they're not going to vote in the Republican. They're going to look to third party people who aren't taking the money. So finally, the Green Party, the People's Party, the Libertarian parties will be able to get a foothold at long
I would
last, and we'll be able
really,
to break
really like
the system.
several people in Congress from the Green Party. That would make me very, very happy.
Make
And
me
there's
very,
a lot
very
of
happy too.
there's a lot of really good Green candidates running that can win.
Who's running this year for the Green Party?
So there's this gentleman in Connecticut that I highly favor. Let me find his name.
Okay, so Lana says, Joe, you said last night this will take about 3 election cycles. Okay. I think it's imperative that you specify that so people will see it's both.
Really? Sorry, I got to go get my dog. Sorry.
Okay. We'll see it's both short, okay, and about longer term as well. Yes, Lana, to complete the job, it will take the 3 election cycles, because to turn over the Senate completely will take the 3 election cycles. We can't get Manchin and Sinema out there in 2022 because they're not running in 2022. They're up in 2024.
I think what we have to accomplish, we have to concentrate on, is the fact that I would love to think that we've got 6 years to make this happen, but the truth of the matter is, like Ramona said, it's now or never. We've got to do major damage right now.
In the
This moment.
2022
Yeah.
election. In the 2022 election, we absolutely have to do major damage. we've got to get those 100 or 150 seats in the House. We got to get 20 to 25 in the Senate out, absolutely out. Bonnie says, let's see, let me scroll up and see what Bonnie added. She said, big dollars out for my vote. And Sandy says, hashtag flush the Congress and Senate. And Steve says it might need to be innocuous. I think he's talking about the hashtag. He says Twitler has wiped hashtag squad game memes completely out.
Okay, so my favorite Green Party candidates. Justin Paglino. He's running in Connecticut, 03. He's, I think he's a doctor. He's wonderful. I really like him. And Austin Patone. He's running for Congress in Pennsylvania, 16th district. Also,
PA
really,
16?
yeah, PA 16.
I'm in 17.
Oh, he's such a good person. I know him last election cycle. Wonderful human being.
How do you spell his last name?
Patton, Patton.
Okay.
Right,
And it's
let me make
Austin, Austin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin Patton. Yep.
Okay.
If it's Patton, isn't that
Patton.
actually Patton?
Patton. Yeah, sorry, Patton. Patton. See, I can't read. And then there's a lot of people running local, but that I think that already passed. And who else is running for Congress that I know?
Do we have any people running for Congress in California who are green? Because there were some very good green candidates in previous elections. Kevin Mejia was one.
Is he running again?
I don't know if he's running again. He's run twice already. He might have gotten discouraged.
So I'm looking at a Green Party group chat that I'm part of. And so that's where I'm looking this up. So I don't see any others that I know personally. I mean, I don't like attesting for people unless like I've actually had conversations with them.
There's a real good one who's running as a Democrat versus Jimmy Gomez. Her name is Angelica Duenas.
Oh, I love her.
She's terrific. I think she originally ran as a Green Party candidate, but then she moved over to run as a Democrat. This is her third time out.
Oh, wow.
She ran twice before. Each time she gets slicker in her appearance and in how she frames her campaign. She's going to be very strong competition for Jimmy Gomez. And if we get our campaign going, I think that would greatly increase her chance to win.
Oh, for sure. So there's also I have to update it. There's a few candidates I need to add to it that I haven't, but there's also a whole list of candidates that Progressive Unity Project. Have anybody heard of that?
I've seen it. I've just come across it lately. Yeah.
So there's a group of activists that kind of came together organically. They're called Progressive Unity Project. And they don't raise money or anything, but they help candidates. And so they research candidates. They see if they actually know how to run a campaign, if they're actually raising money. They support them in any way they can. And so off of all of that data, and if they actually are progressive candidates and if they talk the talk, they're very strict. Mm-hmm. So they have like a whole list, and I'll share it here. They have a spreadsheet that we've been working on that's constantly changing and evolving. And you know, so people get dropped off of it a lot. And then people start running and get added on, you know.
Right, right.
Sure.
But I think there was a whole slew of announcements of new people running, I saw, but I didn't have a time to read through it.
So, Ramona, you do know that Joe does interview candidates. So if there are candidates that you want to like ask Joe if he wants to interview, you should tell him anytime.
So I'm going to share the
Except for
spreadsheet and
his,
please interview all of these candidates.
there you go.
Yeah, remember that we're having conversations with people here 4 times a week now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
So if there's people that you really want to have showcased, Ramona, you should just remember to just DM Joe or something, send him an email or whatever, or me, and then we'll pick and choose.
Okay.
We interviewed a guy in Massachusetts, Kyle Davis, his name is, just about a week ago. He's a Democratic Socialist. Looked like a very strong candidate to me. Very, very knowledgeable, right on top of his platform, okay, and his issues.
So I'll share this so you could share this with everybody.
Okay, great.
And then you could actually use it to research the candidates. These are all good candidates. None of these people are people that you would junk away. They actually know how to run a campaign. They're actually progressive candidates. They have a history of activism. They didn't just come out of nowhere.
That's awesome, Ramona. Thank you.
Yeah. So that all of this work has been done by a whole bunch of people. God bless them. From Progressive Unity Project.
Great.
And
So we can piggyback on that work.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it nice having so many activists that do different things?
Well, and
nobody has to do everything.
It's certainly nice.
If we get a candidate presented to us, can we ask you guys about him or her?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I think we need to do that. This needs to be reciprocity here. Because sometimes we get somebody presented to us, and
yeah,
you don't do that stuff. You guys do.
Yeah, so I don't even do that stuff. I just watch them do that stuff.
There you go.
So that's what I do. I'm really a policy girl, and there. So yeah. So it's at Prague_Unity.
Okay.
And there's Clement Favaron and Ben Feldman and Jonathan Dune and Ezra Wilson and Kayla. It's Kitty M. Kayla A. That's what they go by on Twitter. And so all of these people they contribute. And so they do all of this research on their own time because that's what they're interested in.
Okay, so I've got them on Twitter. I'm going to go back to StreamYard.
So they're a great resource. They're wonderful humans.
Controller this year.
What was that?
He's running. Kenneth Mejia is running for LA City Controller this year. But it says Dolores. Okay, let me pick up this one.
Yeah, they follow me.
Okay, let me get the Google Doc.
And I follow them. So now I've got them on alerts.
Yeah, and you can just message them any question that you have, and they would be more than happy to answer you.
Perfect. We need that. Now we've got it. Ta-da!
Yeah, they're great. I'm so happy they asked me to join them. And yeah, and so And so Jeff and I have a whole bunch of more interviews coming up, and then I'm trying to work something with. Do you know Luke Pera?
Don't know.
The name is vaguely familiar. Okay, is he an MMTer?
Yeah, he's an MMTer. He has a show. And so I want to do interviews for candidates on his show also, because there's so many candidates that there's no way that we could, like one person can interview all these people. So, and I'm so glad that you're interviewing people too, Joe. I think the more people we have, the better off we are.
Yes, I've interviewed the 3 Washington candidates.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Also, Jason, Stephanie Gallardo, and also Rebecca
Parsons.
Parson. Right.
And 3 amazing candidates.
They are 3 amazing candidates, and they're all MMTers. It would really be wonderful if all 3 of them won.
Yeah, I mean, I think
or not, it would be.
I think all 3 of them can win. Like
all 3 of them can win too.
They can win if they're able to raise enough money and get enough volunteers and knock on those doors. They can win absolutely 100%.
Right, and just to add a little point here, if we can get this general movement going, where everybody knows there's a movement dedicated to getting the incumbents out,
it'll help all of them.
These other candidates.
It would help all of them.
It will help them with contributions. It will send a message to people that the probability or likelihood that these people can win is getting higher all the time as our movement grows, if we can make it grow.
Listen, they aren't going to score that bill on November 15th like they, were promised. That bill may very well be dead. And if that bill is dead, people are going to be ripe for something like this.
Yeah, I think they'll be ripe for something like this. But even if they pass that bill, we still have a situation where the Republicans, through voter suppression, and gerrymandering, are going to dominate the elections without a movement like this. Okay.
Well, we're still talking about having to get down into local congressional elections, right?
State and local congressional elections. Absolutely.
And that's really targeted. I mean, we would have to blanket. So I don't know. We need to put this messaging room together and hash this out.
Right. Well, see, that's why a general rule is so important, because people don't have the time to go into all of the local elections. If they have a simple general command, that can affect the whole system. It can disrupt the whole system. It's not going to be right every time. Some good people are going to fall as a result of this. But this is not about some good people falling. It's about getting money out of politics.
I mean, I really hope that it is successful, extremely successful. That it's the Luke Parcher show. That's what it's called, Luke Parcher. But yeah, I hope it's really successful, and that it really changes things and shakes things up, and people actually get motivated to go out and do something different than they've ever done. And I hope do people even know that we only have like this is our last chance?
I don't think people.
I don't think people know that. I think most people.
Did Joe just freeze?
Are still working on 2-3 years ago, and they don't. And it's been getting worse for 3 years, and people don't factor that in, and so they don't realize we actually have only 2 or 3 years left to turn this around. And meanwhile, the Republicans, of course, are planning a fascist state which would totally kill all of us if we let that happen. So we have to stop this now. We have to change the whole system now. So we have to do something radical and drastic. And this move we've talked about here is radical, and drastic. It's the most radical thing out there. It's more radical than the general strikes. I'm not talking against the general strikes. I'm saying this should all be part of one big movement, and this should just be another disruptive measure that is coming out of the movement, and all ends of the movement have to come together and reinforce each other.
It's a perfect time to socialize this kind of stuff because people are getting mobilized.
It would be really great if we got like Sunrise and DSA and all the like anti-war and anti-ICE and all the different
together to support this.
And the prison system, like all the different all the different pockets of movements. If we could get all of these pockets of movements, which was kind of like what United Left was.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get all the pockets of movements together, then you can really affect change.
Yes, and to support each other. Okay,
right.
And if you look at dump the incumbents as part of this unified movement, it becomes even more likely to be successful.
Right, because whether you're for Medicare for all or anti-war, you're really saying the same thing. You're saying, I want justice. It's all one thing. Yeah, it's all connected. Everything's connected to each other.
And I think that people are starting to realize that, right? The only people, and I've said this before, if anybody is dividing activists, they're not your friend. Activists need to realize that the common cause of all of this is the same thing, right? It's greed, it's corporations, and it's co-opted everything, right? So as soon as America starts to realize that, we're going to start looking like Europe. We'll have millions of people in the streets, right? We're just right now kind of like everybody's sort of tepid and, I got my silo over here and mine's over here and you're not allowed to come step on my left side of the sandbox. You know what? I'm going to shit in the sandbox. You ready? Come on. Start playing nice with everybody. That's what we've got to do. Because you're right, Ramona, we're out of time. And no, I don't think people realize it. They still say we've got 10, 12 years.
Yeah, we don't have time to argue and we don't have time to fight. All we have time for is to unify and to lift everybody up.
And the General Strike Summit that Fred Hampton Left is going to do, out of that is going to come a game plan. Hopefully, that's the intention. I'm seeing more activist groups working together, which is wonderful.
When is that, the general strike?
Hold on, I won't guess. I will pull it up right now. I want to say the 12th and 13th, but let me just go make sure I'm not misquoting here.
I think it's the 12th, but through the 14th, isn't it? It's supposed
to might be
3 days in duration.
It may be. Hold on. Sorry, I've just got to find it.
I was asked if I wanted to speak at that 3-day thing happening.
And
if you were asked, I think you should say yes.
Yeah, you should.
And so I didn't really know what was going on because I've been working a lot. I'm trying to get all my projects out. So
3 days, 12th, 13th, and 14th. But you wouldn't, they're giving people slots.
Yeah.
On certain days.
So I don't know what I would talk about. I guess I would talk about this idea, which is such a good idea, and MMT and how it relates.
All that kind of stuff, right? I mean,
yeah.
Just go at it. But if they asked you, you should consider. You really should, Ramona. You should.
I'm shy.
You're doing great. I mean,
I am. I know nobody believes
me. Someone who's so shy, you're involved in a whole bunch of things all across the board.
Yeah. You're
But
doing
I
great.
don't like to be like too much of like I don't like to be too much of the star, you know, of every like I don't want to like take up so much space. Like I like the whole background action, you know? And so whenever people ask me to like, you know, like be somewhere where like, you know, like I'm there, I always get nervous. Um,
I think that happens to everybody. But you know what, though? This would be a really good space for you to get into. I'm going on a panel with Laura Fielding and a bunch of other activists to talk about organizing and that kind of thing. Um, yeah, I mean, just do it. Just do it.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, so we're starting to like cross pollinate one another, and I have never seen that before, which is huge. It's huge.
Right. Okay, we've got some comments and questions. Okay, I don't think I'm going to read all the comments tonight, but there are some questions that we probably can answer for people. So let me go back up to the top and start to scroll down. I promise I'll do it fairly quickly. Mona says, I remember offering some help to Ramona, but she doesn't like me enough. Laugh
What?
out loud.
Who is this?
Who said
That
that?
was Lana. She was kidding you.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I was like,
what's going on?
huh?
That's funny. What's Luke's last name again?
Parsher.
Parsher? How do
Ye-
you spell it?
Parsher.
Okay, the feed.
Parcher.
Okay.
It's a Luke Parsher show.
Okay.
Right. Emily says, I love and applaud the work of educating candidates. This, along with MMTers taking MMT local, so these educated candidates have the power of the grassroots behind them. Unstoppable force. I think a pretty good
Right.
comment. Uh, okay, let me get down there faster. There was a question, okay, by Aaron Taylor, who wants to know actually whether Ramona works with RP.
So I take the stance that I love everybody and I'm staying in that space of love. And I will work with anybody that wants to educate the public. So, yes, I do work with RP.
Okay, so Amber Lee Grigo says, Aaron Taylor, I believe she does work with RP in some capacity, but I could be mistaken. Are you currently working in some capacity with RP?
Don't you have
Yeah,
like a blog or something on?
I
Or no?
I don't have a blog. No.
Okay.
No. So the Luke Parcher show is on RP's network.
Got it.
So
Okay.
so I want to do candidate interviews with him, sweetheart. And so hopefully that'll work out. And yeah. And maybe we'll do another book club. I did the Deficit Myth book club with them and
Yes,
the
you did.
Federal Jobs Guarantee book club with them.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were great. I checked that out. That was really good. I had a lot of economists on. I didn't really talk much because I had no idea what everybody, you know, like at first, like when you first listen to economists speak, like it takes me a minute to really be able to fully absorb. But they were speaking and I was asking questions, and the audience asked most of the questions.
Oh, beautiful.
And
Okay.
it was on every chapter of each book.
Oh, beautiful.
So Aaron Taylor says, I saw Steve Grumbine tweeting out for help, okay, with RP.
Yeah, everybody needs help because it's a lot of work, and you know people have lives and they have families and they have jobs and they're busy.
Okay, so Aaron asks, what is the protest against Pfizer about? The
And
protest.
I did
Go
put the
ahead.
hashtag Occupy Pfizer in there, and it's being orchestrated by the March for Medicare for All. So if you go to Occupy Pfizer hashtag and the at M4M4All, you'll be able to find out. Oh, M4M4All.org or .org. You'll be able to find it. It's on their website. It'll explain it. But basically, they're doing a die-in, right?
Yeah, they're doing a die-in. Okay,
At Pfizer, and
it's
they have
on
demands.
actually November 15th. It's at the Pfizer headquarters, okay, in New York City.
Aren't they? They're demanding that Pfizer endorse Medicare for all.
Right, and it's being run by Sheriff Snuggs.
Yeah, who I met at the Assange protest.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
He's sweet.
He's real. He really is, isn't he? He's a great guy.
He's got great energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does. He has terrific energy. And Steve Gonza says Savage Joy and Edwin DeJesus discuss Pfizer die-in, Medicare for all, Sunday at 2 p.m. EST. And Steve Gonza says, I'll be doing a show on Fred Hampton Left, hashtag General Strikes Summit. But my guests are Liz Med, an art movement expert, plus Chuck Modi, one. Not sure who that is.
Wait, Gonzo's doing a show? Gonzo's going to be part of the Strike Summit?
Well, that's what he seems to have said up here.
Awesome. Hooray.
He says, I'll be doing a show on at Fred Hampton Left. And he lists a couple of guests.
Beautiful.
And Amber Lee says, I think an anti-corruption primary of these candidates is a great way to help to build a bridge between polarized groups, something almost everyone can agree on. And Amber Lee says that you, Ramona, are really good about working with everyone, that you don't get caught up in the drama. She sticks to the point and the message, and I can learn from that behavior.
Love you, Amber.
Aww.
Amber says, dump the zoo in 2022 makes me think of the movement to close zoos. I'm not anything political, laugh out loud. I read some other comments from this section before. And Amber says, another huge factor going forward with candidates is the all but dead anti-war movement. War is the norm, and it needs to change just as much as the climate. War props up our economy in many ways. It's up to us to change that, and I am fearful. Right. It is up to change it, but the basic point here, Amber, is this campaign to get rid of the money out of politics is going to put a lot of steam right back into the anti-war movement, because a lot of this money is going to the military-industrial complex, and they're using it for politics. They're using it to bribe.
And the military is the largest, the United States military is the largest polluter on Earth.
Exactly.
I mean, for us to have, to actually address climate change, we need to end our military.
Yeah.
Right, or certainly reduce it to a very, very small amount. And what we have to do really specifically in this situation is remove the effect of the military's money. And by the military, I mean not only the government military, but all the contractors. We have to remove the effects of their money on the Congress. And so this campaign we've been talking about to get money out of politics is a strike at the military as well. It's a strike at the pro-war forces. And-
Yeah, we have to get rid of those 90 military bases all over the world.
Right. Sandy Deck asks, what about Paula Jean? And says, get her to go green. She's gone to the People's Party. I don't know if she's going to quickly actually go green, but on the positive side, if she stays with the People's Party, the campaign we're talking about is going to help the People's Party too, if they can actually get on the ballot in West Virginia.
Yeah, they need to collect a lot of signatures.
Yeah.
Solana says, Dr. Joe, you have arrived. Someone gave a thumbs down, laugh out loud. I guess I have arrived then. Carmen says, Joe, what would be the deciding factor between a newbie Dem and a newbie Green Party candidate in Dump the Incumbents movement? What would be the deciding factor? I don't think it's our job to talk about the deciding factors. If we want to keep this movement simple, we have to focus on what we're trying to have it do and what the action is to have it do that. I think the people at that point would be perfectly capable of deciding between a newbie Dem and a newbie Green Party candidate. I personally would favor the Green Party candidate because I'd like a multi-party system. But I really don't want to muddy the water of this movement with my preferences. In other words, what we're trying to convey is that this movement is a nonpartisan movement and is directed at solving a particular problem, and that is getting money out of politics. Okay, and we have to leave things for others to solve. There are many other problems to solve, and we have to leave it to the people to solve them. And Laura says, vote for Kenneth Mejia for LA City Controller June 7th, 2022. Yes, he is a Green candidate. And I shared a bunch of things. And Mona says, and Jason called. Did you already say his name? Yes, we did. And Sandy Degg says, Joe is the man. Thank you very much, Sandy. I certainly appreciate being the man every once in a while.
Wait a minute. What's the matter with Sharif? I'm sorry. I'm reading here that Sharif
He's
is
not
sick.
feeling well.
Oh, okay. But he's not like sick. Like he's just not feeling
No,
well
he's
today.
just too sick to write the press release.
Okay. Uh-oh. All right.
Okay, Amberly says, I'm the same, but I'm the same, Ramona, super shy. Sorry about that, folks. Every once in a while, I get into a little bit of a stuttering loop, as you may have noticed. Lana says, ha ha, K, into each life, at least one thumbs down. And Shane says, Sharif is sick, so I am writing the press release for Pfizer. Sorry, not Kaiser, Pfizer. I got Kaiser on the brain because I have Kaiser here. And Steve Gonzo says, hashtag General Strike Summit. And Kay Ryan says, hope Sharif is better soon. Love him.
Yes, get better, Sharif.
Well, you're in good company there, Kay. Lots of people love Sharif. And Shane says, Sharif has you listed. That's as a speaker. Just want to make sure it's correct.
I don't know how that happened.
You just need to reply to them and tell them you'll speak, Ramona. Come on. Jump in the deep end of the pool.
Sure,
Let's go.
you were a speaker, Maron. I was sure you were actually a speaker, Ramona.
They'll make you this really, really cool meme. It'll have your face on it. I got one with my face on it just before I dumped into my last meeting. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my god!
You see my doggy?
Puppy.
This is Cashew.
Hi, Cashew.
Say hi.
Hi, Pupper. I've got one. His name's Louie. He's a golden. He's 1 year old, and boy, oh boy.
There it is.
Yep, there he is. And Lana says Sharif is a good guy. Well, I'm glad you approve. And Sandy says, you're talking in front of all of us. Do it.
The thing is oh, okay. It's just hard.
Okay, so folks, we've come to the end. Is there anything more we'd like to say or anything more we'd like to raise? Okay, I think we have to have a meeting pretty soon on this stuff, Lisa. Don't you think so?
Yeah, we need to
like
put a group
tomorrow.
together. Yeah. I mean, maybe not quite tomorrow, but in 2 days, maybe, when we can get enough people together. We need to talk about the messaging, and we don't have to just have one single messaging plan.
No, we can have a number of different
for
messaging plans.
candidates. We'd want to have it, but we need to do that with people who, we need to get all kinds of ideas on a whiteboard, and then we need to go from there.
Right.
I agree.
That'll be fine. And Amberly says, Joe, please don't ever apologize. Everyone has their little tics, and it's absolutely fine. Well, thank you, Amber. I appreciate that.
Aw. Ramona, I just want to tell you, I'm so glad that we got this chance to talk to you. I'm so glad that I got to meet you.
I'm so glad we got a chance to talk to you.
Yeah. I'm so glad to be here. It's so great to talk to both of you.
Yeah.
It's so nice having fellow activists to organize with and create with and discuss with and learn with. And I've learned so much from Joe. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ramona. I didn't realize you had learned so much from me, but I certainly appreciate that.
I know I've learned a lot from you. And I like when you go through like the news and you kind of like dissect it. I learned so much from that because sometimes I don't really understand what they're trying to get at. And you explain it like, okay, this is what they really mean, and I learned so much from that. And somebody else says that, Esha legal.
Esha, yes, I do.
Yes.
Esha will read like. She'll sit there and she'll read something and she'll dissect it for you. And she'll be like, okay, well, when they're saying this is what they mean. And you have to think like a psychopath to be able to really understand what they're saying.
She'll use the hand gestures.
She's great.
They're a riot.
She's great.
I love her so much. She's such a benefit. But yeah, no, but we're so lucky that we have everybody has like their own gift that they bring, and then they shine so brightly with that gift.
Oh, so Shane said he just took you off the speaker list.
I'm sorry, Shane.
Put her back on the speaker list.
I don't know if I can make it. Also, I don't have a car.
You don't have a car.
She's got it. Well, why? You don't need a car.
Make it into New York for the Assange thing.
So I live like far from the train, so I would have to take an Uber to the train station.
Oh, this is the Pfizer one. Okay.
Yeah, it's that's basically what I did when I went for the Assange one. You have to take an Uber to the train station, and then from the train station, you have to take the hour-long train, into New York, and then from there you take the subway, and then it ends up costing so much money.
Trip.
It's a long trip, but I'm going to have a car in the middle of January. I'm going to get a car, so then it'll be easier for me because then I could just drive to the train station, and then take the train and then come back instead of having to spend. I end up spending like $100 just traveling to the city.
Right, I know. I get it.
Yeah, that's not so good. Not so good at all.
No.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for all the thank yous. And thank you for all the nice comments.
Bye,
And thank
everyone.
you
Goodbye.
for being here.
Thank you for having me. Bye, Lisa. Bye, Joe.
Goodbye, Ramona. See you
Mwah.
soon.
All
Bye,
my
Ramona.
love.
Hey, and hit
And
me up.
we will be back. We will be back tomorrow. Okay, Lisa, okay, and I. And I'm not sure who's going to be with us tomorrow yet. I'm not sure anybody's going to be with us, but I'm sure we're going to have lots of good stuff. So come back.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody, and good night.
Good night,
night.
Joe. I'm going to go too.
Okay.
Bye, Bonnie.
Hi.